Hey guys, wanted to take a minute to share a couple things with you. First off, our Christmas trees are all gone. We built 40 Christmas trees, and yesterday I delivered the remaining few that were left, which means we sold 40 Christmas trees in a little over 3 weeks. And man, that was a good feeling to deliver the last few. Now we're moving on to our next project, which will be another Christmas decoration. But today, I just want to take a moment and thank each and every one who have become a part of our community here at Patio Benders. Appreciate you guys, and I think it's just amazing how fast we've grown. Now, I set a goal when I started this channel and thought, probably take me 6 months to get 250 subs. And already we're cracking 270 subs. And again, we've only been on this for a few weeks. So thank you guys, really appreciate it. Lastly, I just wanted to touch base on one of the comments we received on our very first video that we produced here at Patio Benders. It was a comment that got me thinking and got my gears turning, and I just wanted to just touch on it. The comment, now I'm paraphrasing, went something like, I like these videos, but it leaves the majority of us frustrated because we don't have the power tools you do to do the jobs that we're watching. And that really made me think. And I gotta say, guys, nobody starts off with a shop full of tools, okay? Most times, guys start out with maybe a tool or two that they have for doing renovations, and then they build on that. In my case, I couldn't even step foot into my garage, and I even made a video about it.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could just click your fingers and your entire garage gets cleaned up? But we all know that can't happen.
Yeah, that guy, that garage. You couldn't even walk into my garage. That's how bad it was. So I bought my first power tool back in 2017 when we were planning to build a deck for our trailer. And it's sitting right here. Back in 2017, I went on Facebook Marketplace and I purchased this saw for $40. And it was the first tool of many through the years that I have purchased. Now, after that purchase, I also needed a miter saw, but I didn't have $500. So again, I bought this miter saw on Facebook Marketplace. And again, this miter saw I bought for $225. Okay? Now, what I'm trying to get across is there are many ways that you can build on what you have. And I wouldn't consider buying new all the time. Sometimes your best bet is to buy used. Now, there are some items that I will not buy used. Like for instance, I'm at the point where I really like a thickness planer. And I wouldn't consider buying one of them used. Like the comment said, he was frustrated. It leaves us frustrated. Let that frustration make you creative, okay? Back in the day when I was building that deck, I didn't really have the money to buy the tools I needed to build this deck. So I had to really look at it, really shop around, and try and buy tools that I could afford. Now, that's kind of the way to think about it. And there are many ways that you can save up money to purchase tools, especially if you live in Canada or the US. If you have a single car garage and you got the desire to do woodworking, you can definitely put a plan together. It may take you 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, but you can work towards it, right? So as time goes on and you build items, you always have the option to place those items on Marketplace to make money. I know we have done it with several wood products that we sell. And the other thing that I used to do is I would like save my bottle money. Now here in Canada, we can bring our bottles back and get money for bottles. And I would often save up 2 or 3 months worth and take them in, cash out, and I'd end up with $100, $120. And I'd just put that in my sock drawer until such time I could save up enough money to buy that tool that I needed, whether it was a router, a jigsaw, a Craig pocket hole jig. You know what I'm talking about. The tools that you need in the shop to get the job done. The other example would be my bandsaw, which you guys have seen kind of like in my videos sitting on the side. We were building our Andrak chairs, and my first prototype that I was building, I was using a 3-wheel bandsaw. It was used. I bought it at an estate sale, and I got halfway through my project and that saw failed on me. Okay, so buying used products doesn't always work. Now, I only spent $200 on it, and I turned around and bought this one for $200. So if I were to go and buy a DeWalt 10-inch bandsaw right now, I know I'd be looking at $300-400. So I really didn't lose too much money, but there is that part. I just changed the nut that holds my safety up. And again, the nut in here is a plastic center, and it fell apart. So I had to get a new bolt and mount it on, but now it's back to normal. I went and got a new blade, you can see here. But again, from our Christmas tree project, I had a little bit of cash, so I was able to replace this blade. And the last time I replaced this blade was in 2017. This blade's 5 years old. And I talked to my son tonight, actually, and my son laughed at me. He said, my boss used to change them once a month. And whenever you're doing finishing work, you really do want a good blade. If you are frustrated, turn that frustration and get creative. There are ways to get around this, okay? We started with just an ordinary garage like anyone else. And I built shelves, and I started to put my stuff on the shelves, clean the floor up. Then I realized I needed a workbench, so as I saved up some money, I was able to just frame this out of 2x4s, recycled 2x4s, folks. Nothing special in behind here. These came from my construction job where they were throwing out 2x4s, and I basically took the nails out of them, constructed this with a pocket jig, and then I skinned it with birch plywood, which I bought on sale at Lowe's for, I think it was like $60 a sheet. And basically, I just skinned this entire workbench. And so then we had a workbench. And then from there, we kind of just progressed. And that's kind of the way it goes. Like, I still don't have a decent workbench, a center workbench. Like, I'd like to have a 4x8 area where I could work, and I'd like it a little higher because, man, these sawhorses, they just break my back when I come in at night after working all day on a project. lastly, I'll give you one more example of how you can turn your frustrations and get creative and find ways to solve problems. For about 3 weeks, of course that's about how long we've had our YouTube channel for, I was really annoyed with this window and how the light was coming in, and it was affecting how I could place the camera. It was getting shadows. I'd have my kids would walk by and I'd be in the middle of a shot, and it was just really frustrating. And I was just trying to think of a way that I could cover this window so that I could have more control on my lighting, more control on my taking videos without kids walking by. And wouldn't you know it, when we did a dump run today to clear off this side so that we can make room for some of our products, I ended up backing in beside a guy who's getting ready to throw 2 paintings out. One which I hung inside above the door, and this painting right here. Can you believe it? This guy his name was Roman. He was like pitching these out. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. Now at first I felt a bit silly before I asked him, but then I'm like, I'll ask him. So he was more than happy to give this painting to me. And now I got one in my house, and I've got one right on the window here. And believe it or not, this photo is the perfect width of my window. I mean, what's the odds of that? And then I just put a piece of wood down below, just for now. This is temporary. I'm thinking I'm gonna frame around this window and do something nice with it. But that's kind of what I'm saying, is if you're frustrated and you get creative and you give it time, it's, and you're determined, you can make something of your wood shop. It starts out as a garage, and then slowly over the course of months and years, you'll end up with a wood shop like what you see on YouTube or like you see here. And again, I don't have everything, and there are some items that I would love to purchase. Like I said, a work table, the floating work table. I'd like to get a thickness planer. I'd love to have a CNC machine. And that's basically how you end up with a woodworking shop. It doesn't happen overnight, but in the course of months, years, in my case 5 years, we end up at this place right now. Hey, thanks for letting me ramble. If you're that person, you're frustrated, get creative and set out some goals, give it time, and work with what you have, okay? And if you have any questions, any comments, list them below. Thanks guys, have a great week, take care, and we'll catch you again. Ciao for now.